We have a fun video today. And we have a fun video because in my last video, we had people so angry and throwing so much hate at the fact that a random number generator can trade better than literally 90% of the people you see here on YouTube, myself included, which is really sad because I've been trading for the past 8 years. 6 of those years have been profitable, and I have made millions of dollars combined from Forex stocks and crypto. And I still have no clue what I'm doing. I think the only reason I'm actually profitable is because of the way that I manage risk. I have zero edge. I cannot predict where the market's going to go any better than random chance, which is, in my opinion, about 50-50. Price just goes up or down. A random number generator traded better than me in one backtest simulation in the last video. In this video, what I'm going to try to do is see if we can derive a way to actually get a little bit of an edge. We're going to be very selective, very judicious. None of this is going to make sense to you because the way that I trade is based on my experience and all my little nuances and subtleties that I've learned over the past 8 years trading and failing for the first 2 years. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Remember, trading is risky and most people lose money, and you are probably going to lose money. You should click away from this video right now. Now, if you're crazy enough to stay, I want you to check it out here. I want you to take this away. Trading will take everything you believe about yourself, everything you love about yourself, and everything you stand for and murder it with zero remorse. I told this to my paid members community. It's not actually a community. It's just Nick's Trades. It's just a little server where I call my trades in Discord. And the reason I said that is because a lot of people will notice that whenever they go through trading, they go through win streaks and losing streaks, and the losing streaks really takes a lot out of them. Now me, I'm used to this. I've been doing this profitably for the past 6 years. I understand that win streaks and losing streaks happen. But then other times, when you're on a crazy win streak, it seems like every single trade you take bounces right from where you thought it would go. Last week, I ended up losing like 90K in a day just from Forex alone. That counting crypto, tanking, was like another 60K. I lost $150,000 in a day. And then we came back by the end of the week, crypto had jumped back up, and I had made a significant portion of that back just with FX trading, and ended up on these 3 accounts that I've started up around 15K in total, but I stood to make over 100 grand last week. Look at this. Sometimes I will enter and literally it'll bounce right wherever I anticipated it would bounce at. And there was 2 other. There was one on 80 JPY. That one bounced. Another one on GBP JPY. That one bounced literally right where I entered it. So I tried to do something creative. I tried to figure out, is there a way that I can wait for entries that present a better risk structure so that if the random number generator like we used in the last video, somebody post a link to the last video in the description below. But if the random number generator can trade better than 90% of traders, what if there's a way that I could wait for entries that just present a better risk structure, meaning they're very likely to hit the target and very unlikely to go further against the entry? So essentially, I came up with a little way to do this, and I'm experimenting with it right now, and I'm testing it, and I wanted to show you guys. Let's go ahead and make it completely random. We're going to go back to our good friends over here at random.org, to the random number generator. We're going to select a random number between 1 and 10. We're going to hit generate, and the number is number 2. So we're going to use the second pair on the watch list, which is NZD CAD. And we're going to see how far we should scroll back in terms of seconds. So we're going to count to 6. That's what the random number generator says. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to hit the thing right here to start it. By the way, I cough a lot of my videos, so I cough. Sometimes I'll squint my eyes. Sometimes I'll make noises under my breath. A lot of you guys have expressed a lot of like, hey, Nick, we hope you're okay. Get that cough checked out. I have Tourette syndrome. I made a video about this like a couple videos ago. I have Tourette syndrome. I have nervous tics. So whenever you hear me cough, just know that I'm okay. It's not because I'm smoking too many cigars. I have maybe like 1 cigar a week right now, and sometimes not even that. It's just Tourette syndrome. I have nervous tics. I've had it since I was a child, and it's just not going away. And I can't just turn them off even for YouTube videos, so I just try my best to manage them. But that's what that is. If it bothers you, just go watch some ICT Smart Money Concepts or something. I don't know, but that's the way it is. Just putting that out there. Now you know. Now you're in the loop. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait to see if we can get entries that present a very good risk structure. I'm going to go and I'm going to take 5 trades. That's what the plan is. We're going to try to get over a 50% win rate. I'm going to enter and exit wherever I feel it's appropriate to do so. There is no strategy. It is just pure intuition. It is me using what I know over the past like 8 years of trading total that are going to help me generate like essentially like when to enter or exit trades. And what we'll do is we're going to simulate saying we have a 50K account and we're going to try to grow the 50K to 100K. And I'm going to risk about 30% of the account per trade, which is insane. But whenever I do this, like with my actual live accounts, I don't put all of my trading capital into one account. I put a small portion of my trading capital into an account. So if I blow the account, it's only like 3-4% of my capital. It's not that big of a deal. So we're going to use high risk to try to grow a 50K account. So essentially, I'm just going to let this keep going until I feel that the market's too overextended, and then I'm going to counter the market. So lo and behold, we already have it set up. I'm going to buy here. Take profit looks good right there. A little under a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, but I feel this is good. So if we're on a 50K account, how much risk would that be? Well, if it was a 100K account and risk a third, that'd be about 30K. So this is about 15K of risk. So we're going to get this to about $15,000 of risk. If we're right, we go at 12,000. So the first trade stops out. Now we're down $17,000 in the account. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the next trade. That's trade number 1. That was a losing trade. Cool thing about this is there's no management whatsoever. It's just literally just letting it play out. But you can manage it. You see, this is how nuanced and stuff trading is. And it looks like this would have ended up working out. The stop was just taken out by a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. It's a losing trade. We're down 17K. We're just trying to double the account. What I'm going to do is instead of risking 30%, what I'm going to do is instead I am going to risk the same amount, which is 15K. So that way, you know, if 3 trades in a row lose, you know, the account blows. And then the idea would be to start a new one and just do it again. And if you can just grow the account a little bit more than what you lose whenever you lose the account, then it's perfectly fine. A lot of trading is waiting, especially if you're trying to get entries that present a better risk structure. You have to really wait for things to kind of set up. Also, a lot of people say like, well, in the same pair, you only get one setup like every few months. But here's the thing, like 24 FX majors and minors. Of 24, 25, 26 pairs, you have the opportunity to have so many setups. So it's really not a big deal if you only get a trade every now and then. Okay, so this is going to be the setup that I take, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to extend the profit target just a little bit down here. We'll watch and see if price bounces at that low. You don't have to manage, but sometimes it's better if you manage. So in this case, it worked out. We're back to break even on the account. We made $800 profit, 800 Canadian dollars profit, excuse me, to my friends in Canada. I don't want to insult you guys, you know, saying dollars when it's really CAD, it's Canadian dollars. So we're going to see if price can do a little bit of an overextension. Again, there's no rules here. It's just literally experiences, looking at the market and saying like, okay, I think we've extended it far enough. I think there might be a little like retracement in price. So it's getting in with a defined risk structure. So this is getting juicy. I think if we have another push down, I'm going to buy. Like a nice, like a push down, like a lot lower than that, a little bit lower. Okay, so this presents a good risk structure. A lot of you will say, look, it's a support zone too. None of that even matters. It's crazy. Trend doesn't matter. Support doesn't matter. Resistance doesn't matter. It's crazy how much just doesn't matter. All that really matters is just controlling risk. And you might ask, like, well, what the fuck does that mean? How does that, you know, what do I actually do? Controlling risk can mean a lot of things. It's how much you put into the account. All right, I've got this trade set up. We're going to let it play out. It's how much you put in the account. It's how much you risk per trade. It's your position sizing and how that relates in the context of your trades. So are you going to add to trades and drawdown, add in profit, etc., etc.? A risk structure is just a combination of the things that you do to control risk. So me, I start with a small starting balance and kind of let everything play out. This was a winning trade, grew the account about 18K, so we're going to move on to the next trade. We only really need 2 more trades to be able to get this account to the growth target, which is 50K to 100K. So I'll have to make 50K in Canadian dollar profit in order to have doubled this account. Then we're going to go back and look at what the win rate is. That actually looked like a decent setup, but I missed it. We're going to pretend we were asleep, but here we go, brothers and sisters. Oh my God. Oh my God. Missed the best part of the entry. However, this should still be fine. Now we got less than a risk reward ratio. You know, if you're really mad about this, you go learn some ICT smart money concepts, because if you do that, you're gonna be able to make so much more money, because you can get 1 to 69 risk reward ratios on every single trade. Some of the best trading systems I've ever seen was the Smart Money Order Block Wagyu Beef Bullish Kobe Steak Medium Rare Candlestick Entry Strategy from ICT Smart Money Institutional Wagyu Beef Strategy concept. That is just the best. This is broke trading right here. This is poor trading. This is from a dude that openly admits he has no edge and just profits because of the risk structure. All satire. Let's continue. So I've got this trade set up. Risking, okay, I'm going to say this is 14K of risk to go for about 12K of profit. We're using negative risk reward ratios here. That looks like it's going to go up, but then again, you never know. Tempted to get out of this, brothers and sisters. So that one ended up working out. The account's grown 31,000. And so what we're going to need to do on the last one, I'm going to go ahead and risk 20K, because that'll be still about 30%, you know, roughly. And then that if we win that 20K trade, this account will grow from, right now it's 31K in profit plus 50K starting deposit. It's at 80K, you know, simulated. Past performance doesn't indicate future results. This is 80K. We're going to try to take it to 100K for this last trade. And if it loses, we'll be set back a little bit. I want to see a nice sweep above the highs, a nice little institutional liquidity order block candlestick manipulation. I'm gonna trade like the banks, guys. I'm gonna fucking trade like the what is all this shit those smart money people call it? They're like, I'm gonna trade like the banks, bro. Okay, we're gonna see if this one works out. I think this is likely enough to happen. I mean, what do you guys think, right? You're probably thinking to yourself, you're not looking at the resistance or the London session changeover for the liquidity to come into the markets and the retail buy side liquidity. I don't give a crap. I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm still profitable. And literally I was still profitable without even predicting where it was going to go using a random number generator in the last video. Let's see where this goes. I kind of hoped it was going to stop out. That way I could show you guys, you know, the account gets back to like, you know, 10K profit, then we have to grow it again, this and that. Unfortunately, I hit the profit target. So the account has grown $53,000 profit in this simulated backtest scenario, which doesn't indicate live results. This means that the 50K CAD starting balance was grown to 100K. Now, what was I doing? Let's go back and let's try to see if we can get kind of a feel for what was going on here in the win rate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades. There was exactly 5 trades. That's kind of baffling to me. One of the setups lost. It was the first setup. The second trade won. The third trade won. The fourth trade won. And now the fifth trade has won. So if you're from Essex, that means we're at a 80% win rate. I'm just playing. I just heard somebody else say that in a video, and I thought it was funny. If you're from Essex, I don't even know where Essex is. Is that in the UK? Yeah, I think it's in like the UK. So here's what I'll say. If you're from West Texas, 4 out of 5 trades mean you've got an 80% win rate. Now, how is this possible? How is it possible that more than half the time, with a negative risk to reward ratio on a lot of those trades, you're risking 1 unit of risk to go for only like 0.75 or 0.8 units of gain, which I know it's so horrible. Sue me. I have negative risk reward ratios. I will never be as good as our Lord and Savior, ICT, Michael Huddleston, Smart Money Concepts. He is truly the best trader of them all. He is the guru of my guru's mentor's guru. And we can never trade like that with a 1 to 420 risk reward ratio. I'm over here being a very humble man with a negative 1 to 0.8 risk reward ratio. And yet I still had an 80% win rate, just kind of like catching overextended markets. Whenever you trade like this, keep in mind, There is no way to predict where the market's going to go. All that matters is what your risk is. A lot of my really bad like trading months and stuff comes from just losing streaks where back-to-back trades win. And I either blow an account or I grow it. Here's the 3 accounts I'm on right now. I'm calling all these trades this is the MFX Nix trades thing. You can join this. It's the link in the description below. It's like a monthly subscription group. I just call all my trades in here. I did it for free in Telegram and posted all my results for like the past 6 years. I no longer do that as of now. This is all in Nix trades. Maybe that'll change at some point in the future. For right now, I'm charging for it because people pay for it. And it's great. And I'm happy and they're happy. It's like a win-win for everyone. Here's the first account. Went from 50K. I'm down about 1,000, but with the swaps and commissions, it's down to like 42K. I've lost 8K on that account. This account, I have put 150K deposit, and the profit has been pretty much break even, but with swaps and commissions, it's down 5K. So almost break even on these first 2 accounts. And then I just started this account last week, and then I placed the first trade last week as well. This one's already grown like 28K. And since it's only these 2 trades, there's almost no swaps and commissions. Thank the good Lord and Savior. So the net P&L since I started these accounts is about 15K, but that's pretty much break even. Now, whenever I do get good entries, the account grows rapidly. The only problem is since I risk so much, whenever I take a couple losses, there's a significant bump in the account, right? Losing $90,000 in a day from just Forex trading alone was freaking ridiculous, and has never happened to me. That was the first thing that happened last week. That's the first time that ever happened. I closed those losses and I booked it, and then I came back the last 3 days of the month and the last 3 days of the week and won these 3 trades back to back to back. And I'm looking to get into more as well. I will actually show you the setups I'm looking for to take this week. I'm going to show you that here in a second. With EuroCHF, the entry was just perfect. I mean, I'll show you how I call these trades out if you're thinking about joining this, just so that you can see. It's plain and simple. March 21st, 2024 at 8:51 a.m. I called this out. I show my entry on the chart so you can see everything, the lot size, where the invalidation's at, where the potential target's at. And I will just say I'm short EuroCHF, risking this to make this. And sometimes I'll send an audio message explaining the context, the analysis, and how I've defined the risk and everything like that. But that's how I do it. I post updates. I post another one like I'm short on GBP JPY. Right here, see, so right here, I'm short on GBP JPY. I'll send an audio message below with context. You can see everything lined up, right? So you see my position, my sell limit, the invalidation, profit target. Everything is set up. That way it makes it really, really simple for people to follow. This is not, I wouldn't call this a signals group, so I don't send the trades out like they're signals, like, oh yeah, we're going to Pokemon. I just share everything I'm doing. I only know what works for me. I don't know what the hell's going to work for you. But you're free to follow it in here. And in this case, I sent a 16-minute long audio message explaining everything about GJ, just to try to give my thoughts to help you get inside my head and kind of see like where I'm coming from with all this. It's crazy that there might be an edge in trading. I just think it's really hard to find, especially in a manual approach. You can't really prove a manual trading approach is profitable, but you can't really disprove it either. It's one of those really subjective things, because since you can't duplicate it and every person's going to trade individually, this is why you see people who are profitable traders which suck at teaching, because they know what works and it's clearly working for them, but they have a lot of trouble articulating and communicating that to another person in such a way that they could understand. That's why I just try to guide people along the right path so that they can learn how to trade for themselves, and I guide them to where they can gain the experience necessary that would then dictate and warrant them using their intuition and discretion and price action discernment in their own trading approach, instead of just trying to beg someone else to just follow their trades and copy. You're free to follow my trades, if you want, but like this is how I share everything. And it works out really nicely. So when it comes to this, with everything being in here, you can see like literally like everything. I just show absolutely everything. In trading, there is a way to control risk for every single trade, whether you're adding to losses and you're sort of using a DCA hedge approach or a DCA grid approach. There's also hedging I'll implement sometimes in my approach. There's limit orders sometimes. You can automate trading in such a way where you spend probably like 15 to 30 minutes a day max looking at chart setups. If you're trading just in the daily and 4-hour chart, you're not going to get very many setups per week. And the ones you do get setups on, you can probably just use limit orders to enter and exit them. When I hear people say like they don't have time to trade, I'm like, dude, look at this one pair that made 53,000 CAD, risking 30% per trade, right? 30% of the account per trade. This happened over the course of August 11th to November 20th. About a month and a half. How much time would you have really needed to be there looking at charts? On that day, probably like you could have just had an alert. Then whenever it goes lower, you can set the alert and the alert triggers and then it goes off. What I'm saying is like I'm not trying to give you specific entry criteria because there are none. I don't have any specific entry criteria. I literally buy when I think it's going to go up, sell when I think it's going to go down, and I just make sure I have a risk structure defined for the trade. Sometimes it's DCA, sometimes it's hedging. Sometimes it's like adding in with a multiplier, kind of like a pseudo martingale approach. Sometimes I just close the trade at a loss. Sometimes there's literally just a stop loss. It just depends on the context of the actual setup. But trading this way, sort of waiting for overextended markets, might have an edge. And it is very interesting. It's something I'm going to continue to develop. Most of my actual results in back testing this, I've done extensive back testing on this. Just this past weekend, I did 8 different back tests on a bunch of different pairs on 8 different pairs over the course of 1 year of data. The win rate actually averaged anywhere from a 61 to 74% win rate. So floating right around like 68, 70% win rate. That is insane because I thought it's only 50-50. But this is with using like about 1-to-1, oftentimes a little bit less, like 1-to-0.8 or something like that. But using even less than a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, the win rate is like as high as like 65, 70% sometimes. That's insane. And in this case, this is an 80% win rate. I guarantee you if we did like 15, 20 trades, the win rate would probably be sitting around 65 to 70%. We just kind of got lucky here. But that's the thing. If you're using multiple accounts to trade and you just get lucky on a few of them, right? You might blow one of the accounts, you might grow, 2 of them. So I have 3 accounts here. One was started with the 50K balance, another with 100K, another with 150K. Let's say I blow this last one, right? I started at 100K. See the deposit right there. There's a 100K deposit. Let's say I blow it and I lose 100K. But the 150K account, I grow to 300K, 150K profit. And the 50K account that I started, let's say I grow that to 100K, right? So I made 50K from that, 150K profit from the other. That's 200K in profits minus the 100K of the blown account. I still came out on $100,000 profit. And this might take a month or 2, right? Sometimes it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It just kind of depends on the market environment. Trading this way is so simple. It's so straightforward. It takes almost no time if you kind of pre-plan the setups, right? I am not like, this may sound ridiculous. I'm not kidding when I say is if you're looking at the higher time frames, like the 4 hour and the daily chart, you really don't need more than like 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes a day. If you're very like slow, maybe like 30 minutes a day. But I don't know what you would do for 30 minutes a day because it's like the setup's either there or it's not. Once you develop your own trading approach and you have a setup, you know kind of what you're waiting for prior to entry. Maybe it's a trend line balance. Maybe it's a support resistance zone sell. Maybe you're just waiting on a higher high or a lower low. It does not matter. Whatever your entry criteria is or whatever your basic parameters around trades that you might take or whatever, because there is no black and white entry criteria for me. Whatever those are, you can just set alerts at the levels you're thinking about entering at, and the alert gets triggered. You're at work, you can't check it. You get home a few hours later, you look at your phone, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it looks like a good setup. You plan out the risk structure, you calculate your position size, and you kind of figure out all the little details, like what am I going to do if it goes against me? You kind of think it through a couple times, like you ask yourself 3 times, are you sure you want to take this trade? And you just take 1 or 2 trades at a time per account. Maybe you have 2 or 3 accounts. Just take separate trades on all of them. You should expect that trading this way, you're going to blow accounts. As long as you just grow more accounts to the growth target versus the accounts that you lose and blow, the system is overall profitable. And guess what? You can put a small percentage of your trading capital in an account. So that way you can just trade at high risk. This whole risk 1% of your account thing, I think it's good. A general suggestion that's pretty good with large capital. But even then, like, allocated to FX, just FX alone, not even counting crypto and stocks, I've allocated about 1.2, 1.3 million to FX. If I risked 1% of my trading capital, that'd be like what, 13K per trade, which I guess is kind of what I do. So perhaps I risk a little bit more than that. I only average net like a couple percent a month, maybe. Like that is like maybe like 1 or 2% per month total, like if you average it out. And then, of course, we've got stocks and crypto and long-term holdings and equities. I don't actively trade stocks, and I don't really even actively trade crypto right now. I'm just holding on to stuff I bought at the end of last year. But If you can set up things in such a way where you can predictably produce a profit long term, you're going to go through win streaks, you're going to go through losing streaks. But provided that you keep doing the things that you know work intuitively, that experience is so valuable because you can cling to that, you can stick through it, and then nobody else will understand what you're doing, but you will understand what you're doing. And that's what matters, my friend. If you'd like to see me trade live, I'll put a link in the description. You can follow my trades. And if you like this video, make sure to do whatever the hell you want to do. Go watch an ICT video, maybe. I don't know. I'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.